Okay, try this on. No infrastructure, no roads, no bridges, no tunnels, no pipelines, probably no renewable fuel constructions, okay? No windmills. Anyway, probably no construction in my lifetime, all because of a crazy left-wing woke climate NEPA regulations. Really quite remarkable. Joining us now, Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, ranking member on the Energy and Natural Resource Committee, probably knows more about the NEPA and the interaction of new construction and new building than anybody on the planet. So, Senator Barrasso, let me ask you, were you surprised? I mean, here's President Biden out on the campaign trail, proudly talking about his infrastructure bill, and here's his own people in the White House putting up new NEPA regs that violated the infrastructure bill and will destroy infrastructure. Were you surprised at that?
Well, you got it right at the beginning of the show, Larry, when you said the president needs to ditch his woke advisors. Instead, yes, earlier this week, he turned over the keys to the economy to these individuals who are the environmental extremists. Mm-hmm. And that's the situation we find ourselves in now. It's going to make inflation worse. It's going to make energy prices go higher because they're going to stop everything with these new regulations that came out. Roads, bridges, highways, as well as oil and gas development. So it's going to make things worse for the American people. I've been traveling all around the state of Wyoming these last 2 weeks, Larry. People here are furious. We're looking at a 40-year high of inflation. We are trying to get energy production increased so we can get energy prices down. And yet this administration is wrapping us up in more red tape, making it harder for Americans to produce affordable American energy.
You know, Senator Barrasso, it's just interesting. We covered this last night. I talked about it this afternoon on FNC with my friend Sandra Smith. We actually talked about it on radio also, but people need to know this. I mean, these new enviro restrictions, cumulative restrictions, that includes the past as well as the future, direct, indirect, these are complete subversions of tradition, certainly an overturning of the Trump NEPA, but it also overturns what Congress asked for. Remember the one federal decision provision. This is going to be done outside of NEPA, NEPA being the National Environmental Policy Act. I mean, this is a real subversion based on crazy assumptions.
I see it exactly the same way you do, Larry. Remember, the president is heading to Seattle because tomorrow is Earth Day.
Oh,
and
right.
He wants to proclaim himself as the savior of the planet Earth at a time that he is destroying America's economy. Think about when President Trump was in office and you were there in the White House getting rid of so many rules and regulations to make us able to construct things faster, better, cheaper, smarter, that one federal decision, so there'd be a shot clock. Well, Joe Biden is reversing all of those things. And what's worse is they said this is just part one. They're going to come out with even more restrictive red tape later in the year. And you add to this his climate czar, John Kerry, yesterday on television talking about they're not going to allow more production of American oil and gas. And, you know, when he says it with such smug superiority, like the rest of us are just, you know, bad people. We're just not smart enough to figure it all out. The American people are very disturbed with the direction of this country. They feel the president isn't up to the job. And the poll numbers reflect that, Larry.
You know, Senator, just last quick thought. What will happen here is renewable projects will not pass these new NEPA restrictions. I mean, for example, wind turbines will not pass. Also, things like electric cars, okay, Elon Musk, I'm all for him. Electric cars, fine. Charging stations. But these restrictions won't let you mine for the minerals that are necessary. You and I have talked about this in the past. So you'll get nothing. I mean, there may not be any new construction again in my lifetime. I mean, seriously.
Well, you're right. And we talk about the critical minerals. And we cannot allow ourselves as a nation to become dependent on whether it's China for critical minerals, whether it's Russia for uranium, none of that. We need to be self-sufficient. And if we can't do it here and get the permits to do it here, that's not a good situation for our nation.
Senator John Barrasso, thank you, sir. We appreciate it, as always.